BBAI stock closes at 7.99, finally getting within the range that we were battling for some time before really seeing it decrease, a big gap down, and a continuation to the downside. Really finding that 470 before finding a big move to the upside. Now, guys, seemingly we've had this huge movement almost out of nowhere, right? We have this nice volatile movement to the upside on the stock. BBI is getting a ton of attention, right? We see a lot of volatile price action. For some point, guys, we think we're just chopping around here before the next big move to the upside, but we end up breaking lower, try to get that retest, and we do gap down quite a bit. That's where we see buyers surprisingly step in quite nicely. We did have some good news on that day and then try to continue to this level, but now once support at 622 does become some resistance there, and we kind of trend down for a long period of time, guys. We got right around a week here, around about 4 weeks, about a month of price action to 3.5 weeks of price action of just really dying down from all the excitement. And we thought we could have got back in that zone given this nice reaction from the buyers after that drastic gap down. But what does hold up is the bottom of this candle, that wick holding around that 470, and that's where we find that bounce to the upside, get a little bounce, couple candles of indecision, and then we really continue it this past week, guys, showing that buyers are in that control, blowing us all the way past to that $8 level where we haven't even tested for a very long time, guys. So surprisingly, get back up to those levels where a lot of people thought we were going to get the full retracement, right? If we look on the weekly time frame, this entire kind of story with BBAI is that we get a big move to the upside, we get a big retracement. We see this nearly every single time the stock gets a volatile movement. Although we do see a ton of volume seek into the stock where we didn't see that in the past, guys. There was virtually no volume. And the once spike zones really turned into kind of just ascending volatile price action. And we see a huge spike right here, followed up with another energy building zone, kind of like we saw right here, leading to another big move to the upside, where we thought if we could hold above that $8 level, kind of as a base and continue trending to the upside, we could be retesting that 1036 here. But instead, guys, that $8 psychological level, 872 being the exact high of this formation, really holds up as some strong resistance. Sellers do have a lot of control of that spot, and that leads us to the downside. And especially with the bad fundamentals coming into the stock, right, losing profits, guys. The company did have some good news on the way up, but then we did get a bit of bad news leading to that big gap down after kind of playing around within the ranges of a $6 level to that $8 level. But recently we did get some fuel to the fire, guys, as BBAI stock went up recently after a new deal with the US Navy, and big investors like BlackRock also bought some more shares of the stock, which led to people being a bit more confident with it, as well as the company is showing off its biometric tech at airports. So that definitely added to the excitement. Although, guys, we have to keep in mind that the company is still losing money, so it's not the greatest sign, and looks like we do hold with some selling pressure still around the zone that we were battling for some time. Wouldn't feel exactly very confident with the stock until we can hold above this zone and really treat it as a support level, right around that $8 psychological level, right? Get above that, possibly get above 872 being the high of this range. And then if sellers try to push us down, actually hold this as some strong support, continue trending back up, and rip through, testing that 1036. So right now we're in a very interesting spot with BBAI. We could be actually getting past this little high area right here and continuing our trend up after a bit of time where we thought we could have got it here with a lot of indecisive back and forth. Although pretty delayed now, we could be actually seeing this move develop if we end up trending above that $8 level and holding that as a nice base, then continuing to the upside. All right, guys, turning back to the daily chart. So I want to analyze the most recent price action here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prominent green candles in a row, really breaking past this base of 622, which held us up last time, guys. We had that nice correction after that huge gap down, and it looks like we're going to break back within the zone of 622 and $8. That's where sellers step in here and reject us with a slow descent to the downside, back at that 470 where the bottom of this candle was. And once we got that move above that, guys, it took around two volatile candles, indecisive doji-like candle, to really find a nice green wide bar with the majority of the day being in the buyer's control to break through that 622, and while we're at it, break through that 674, which was a micro resistance. And then we keep on rallying, guys, so nothing's really holding us back until we get back to that zone of around that $8 psychological level. We do see some pretty impressive selling pressure here, kind of like we saw in the past every time we tried to get above that, right? We couldn't have a candle really holding above it. See one right here, but quickly the bears shut us down and the buyers really can't hold above that $8 level. And then from those multiple rejections of that zone, once we really meet up with this resistance and the support, it just ultimately leads to the downside where we really can't hold, try to get a weaker move up, and boom, that's where you see the gap down. So a mix of technicals and fundamentals that really brought the stock down, but definitely shows that this spot is really tough resistance. So for the bears, guys, you want to see this hold up as some nice resistance here, leading us back down to possible support at 718, possibly at the $7 psychological level or even lower before trying to rally back up. And if the buyers have the power, they could get back within this range. I think if that held up again as some really harsh selling pressure, you'd see that continue move to the downside. Now, we've gotten a very quick movement to the upside pretty quickly, so my guess is that we really do test this zone. I don't think we just completely crumble right here. I think that buyers really give it a good little shake, try to get over that. Kind of like we saw right here, possibly even test the highs of 872 before really crumbling down to the downside, or actually holding above that as some nice support right now and then continuing up. So we'll have to see. But as of right now, guys, stay patient with the stock as it's a very important level. So for short-term traders, you wouldn't want to be getting into a trade just yet. You want that confirmation that we can actually hold above this level, and you would be looking for that break of 872 before feeling really, really confident with this move to really get back to those zones of 1036. But that's the main thing that sticks out. Really nice rally, but still some considerable selling pressure, which makes sense as that was the toughest zone. Next few days of trading will definitely give us a better idea if the buyers are strong in this scenario or if that selling pressure is really going to hold up around this zone. And take you guys to the hourly, we do like what we see here. We don't see a big pullback just yet. We see some obvious indecisive price action after breaking through that plane and hitting ultimately, guys, around that 848. So we do get a nice test just under that 872, which was that previous high, right at that 848. And then without a surprise, we do see a quick correction to the downside, but then it is nice to see that buyer step in on this hourly candle. And then we see a smaller red candle here to finish the day. And a very good case scenario, we hold above this 787, which was the general high of the last zone that we were in. Quickly going back to the daily, guys. This was a general high where we couldn't really hold over that 787. And so if we can really hold this as support, guys, we're looking really nice to the upside, cracking through that 872 and possibly above that. So make sure for the buyers, guys, we hold above this zone, continue to the upside. Now, if we get below this zone, that's also some normal price action, given that this was a really tough zone to get over for a bit of time. We remain quite neutral on BBAI, but I think there's a lot of bullish potential here, especially if we hold above that 787 and continue trending in a nice, strong, volatile manner. See volume really start to flush in here. So if we could get continued buyer presence and possible volume like we saw right here, guys, I think we could be looking good for that break of the previous high of 872 and the ultimate continuation. But like I said, guys, be patient now because we still are battle tested at this zone and sellers like to keep us under this zone. So really want to be looking for that support level to hold, that base, and give us a reason to believe that the stock can actually breeze through this zone right here, guys. So stay patient on this one, guys. Let me know your price predictions in the comments below, both short and long term on the stock. If you guys enjoyed and want to see more videos just like this one, make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys all watching to the end of the video. As always, guys, trade smart. I will see you all in the next one.